So I'm here with the Yodo1 HR team. And it's great to be here with you. We're going to be talking today about some culture-related stuff, innovations that you guys are working on or have been working on, and hopefully a lot more. So I'm looking forward to talking with you. My name's Luke. I'm the head of the education department here at Yodo1, and I hope to learn about some interesting stuff happening in the Yodo1 HR team. So maybe we could start with a quick introduction. Would you mind just quickly introducing yourselves, what you do in the team, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. How about you, Flo?
Sure. My name is Flo. I'm currently the head of HR, though I started in the recruiting and actively involved in all the different HR areas.
Great. Shiksha?
Yeah, hello, I'm Shiksha. I work with Flo and the rest of the HR team in recruiting. I am the hiring success manager along with Huizi here. Yeah.
Great. Huizi?
My name is Huizi, and my role in HR team is recruiter, mainly in China, and hiring success manager. That's all.
Okay, great.
Okay,
And
it's my turn.
yeah.
Hello, my name is XuanNa, and in China, work in HR department. I'm responsible for HR operation. Simply put, our work include onboarding process management, staff evaluation management, and offboarding process management. Also include salary payment and farewell welfare benefits. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. So maybe we can start with something that is, I think, quite interesting and unique about Yodo1 is we have people in the company and in the HR team working from all over the world, all over the place, very culturally diverse. And yeah, as I mentioned, the HR team is no exception to that. So I'm wondering, and maybe Flo, you can speak to this first and then anyone else. How does the diversity of the team factor into the way HR does things?
It's a very interesting question. It's actually been a really interesting journey as well because the HR team has kind of followed in Yodo1's journey of first being very Chinese and then becoming more and more global. When I joined the HR team last year, everyone had to switch from speaking Chinese to speaking English because I couldn't understand Chinese. Now the Chinese people on the team, their English is really strong, which is really cool to see. We've added two new people to the team, Shiksha and Jovi, another staff member from the Philippines. So we're now more and more diverse. And yeah, it means that on the Chinese side, we have to constantly think about translating, making things easy for the Chinese staff, and at the same time, helping to slowly but surely push the whole company more in an international direction. And yeah, it's an interesting challenge.
Does anyone else want to share about that? Just the working with your teammates who don't necessarily have the same background, the same experience. Does anyone want to share anything on that?
Yeah, I can add on. This is the first time that I'm working with Chinese people actually, and it has been great. I have never worked with anyone Chinese before this. The exposure is really great. I was not aware of many of the cultures that is there in China. So and to get to learn all of that is really great. The team as such is diverse because we have three Chinese people, one from Philippines, we have Flo from the Netherlands, I'm from India, but I live in Ireland. So we do have cultural differences, but it's all coming together so well because we understand each other. We understand how to collaborate with each other. We understand how to manage time. That's the most important thing, actually. I took some time to learn that basically, and that's factoring in very well for me. So yeah, it's great to work in such a diverse team.
That's great.
We do, of course, have the time challenge where, like, for an occasion like this, we have to ask our Chinese team to stay up late to join in. And yeah.
Yeah, that's certainly one thing, is having to finding the right time for meetings is something that in our teams we have to deal with as well. We tend to use something called When is Good, and that helps find there's usually one time that everybody can do. We always find at least one time that everybody can do. Okay, maybe we can talk a little bit about innovation. So I wonder if we could focus on some of the things that you have implemented already, and maybe some stuff that you're planning on doing, some cool stuff that's on the horizon to make things run more efficiently, to hire more effectively, to do the things that the HR team has to do. I know you're working on a lot of stuff and implementing a lot of cool innovations. So, uh, what have we been doing?
I'll take this one up. So, with innovation, I would like to focus more on the automation side of what we're doing. So, many of the processes we are making automated, especially in hiring. And something that's really cool that's coming up is we are making the operation side automated as well. For hiring, the tools that we use and the processes that are embedded in it, we are making it completely automated with the AE team that we have with us. We have a very good colleague with us, Nathan. He works with us on everything that we need to do. And the processes, I would like to tell you about them. Like the hiring process, when it started for Yodo1, I didn't think that it was automated before. Like when I came in, just a little bit here and there was there. But now we have most of the processes quite automated, like one click and you have the email prompts going to all the employees of Yodo1 and to the candidates who have applied. And we also have implemented anniversaries now. Just like a few days ago, we were sharing these screenshots in our chat groups that because of the automation team that we have, the HR can now send automated updates to the team members, team leaders, and the managers that so and so people have completed so much time in the company. So just congratulate them. And when people are congratulated or when they are made aware of the time that they've spent here in Yodo1, it's like really good. They feel good of, getting such emails or sorry about that, the messages and getting appreciated. So that's something really cool. We are also planning to get on birthdays now. So that's going to be really cool as well. So yeah, that's something that automation team has been working relentlessly with us. And we are trying to do the best we can.
So you implemented anniversaries right after mine. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Oh.
Or it just means that your team leader didn't notice. Because I've actually that's been going for a little while.
That's another thing. Okay. Fair enough. Or it went to me and I'm supposed to congratulate myself.
Yeah.
I had a little party for myself with a little cupcake and one candle.
Actually, something new that we're doing now that I'm excited about is we used to do a lot of our automated reminders in email, but we still do. Now we're working with the automation team to have messages go into DingTalk chat groups and to be able to tag the specific people who are relevant, which is now possible because we did a big sync up to connect all of our basically staff data in which we're keeping an Airtable to all of the contacts in DingTalk. And we're going to test out in hiring first and then potentially bring it into other areas. But basically, because a lot of people don't check their emails, it's hard to know if they did or not. We'll see if this takes it to the next level in terms of getting reminders out.
Are you pretty hopeful that actually sending reminders in messages is more effective than sending via email?
I think it will depend person to person. Like I know some people actively check their email and other people almost never do, like myself. And in that way, it's easier to guarantee that people are checking DingTalk, and you can keep track as well, I think. But it's an experiment for now. But I think
for reference to those watching externally is our messenger, is our the one we use to communicate.
A great big communication app.
It sure is. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to ask just one quick follow-up question on this before we go on to the next thing. Is how do you find the line between where you automate and where a person needs to do something? In other words, how do you make sure you're not over automating so that something is very efficient, and maybe XuanNa or Huizi could answer this. How do you know where the balance is between doing something face to face or person to person individually and something that's automated?
In my thought, I think some work, repeatedly manual work, and we need to achieve by automation.
So if it's like data entry stuff or sending out mass emails, that sort of thing?
Yes, I think so.
And then, but then when is it best to have a real interaction or to do something in person?
I think when it comes to things like just the initial reminder, we'll try to make that automatic. I think everyone in the HR team in some area or another spends time chasing people down. Please check this, or please do that, or share this information. So we want to automate as much of those initial reminders as possible. And then in some cases, if there's a next level of follow-up needed, that will usually be the human part. But taking away the need to remember and remind people and just focusing on like where, like updating someone's contract. We're not going to fully automate that because it needs human review. And
Okay, so it's sort of like administrative staff, but automated in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
Doing follow-up. Okay, cool. What about what on that administrative side? There can be when there's a company that's growing and it's a global company, a lot of clunkiness that can come in, right? I have a friend who works in a very large company, and it's just the administration is so clunky that you can barely move. Nobody can move because you can't turn left without having to get 9 approvals. So as Yodo1 grows, how are we ensuring that we don't have that increasing clunkiness that tends to happen when a company grows?
It's a good question. I would say, and it's interesting because you'll notice the HR team is actually pretty recruiting side heavy. And because Yodo1 is a growing company, we're investing a lot in hiring. I'd say the very first thing is that we will continue to hire people who can be trusted, like people who fit the culture of, making your own decisions, taking accountability, learning from your mistakes. And that being said, of course, HR does need to implement some basic processes and policies where needed. I try to follow the general guideline of keeping the policies and processes as simple as possible and reviewing them every now and then to make sure we actually have a good reason for having them there.
So sort of trust is a kind of cultural thing that becomes or can be part of the infrastructure of the company. If trust is there, then a lot of things don't have to be regulated or approved. And if that's actually something that people feel and appreciate, then you remove a lot of the bulky clunkiness that could be there. Yeah.
That's the idea. And we balance our policies. Like we gave a lot of trust, for example, in hiring and hired a lot of people, but it went almost too fast and got a little out of control. So then we had to tighten up a little bit, adjust the policies, and it'll kind of change like that. But an example in hiring is that when you do an interview, if you've been trusted to be on the interview team, you have a decisive decision. You make the call. You don't vote. You don't decide with a panel. You as the interviewer say yes or you say no, and that's the decision. So we try to keep things, I guess, more flat in that way. Give people that responsibility.
So is going too far meaning what people were hiring their grandmas and things like that? Not that far. Okay.
Not
Okay.
quite that far.
Okay. Well, how do we make sure that we are hiring the right people? What is Yodo1's and this might be useful for people outside of the company who are curious about how we bring people in. How do we hire the right people? What is our secret sauce for doing that?
Yeah, I think the secret sauce of doing that is, again, the most important thing, trust. Because I would like to, take this up, giving a personal example, my own example. I came in Yodo1 like 3 months ago, and that's what I feel that's how I got hired, because my interviewers trusted me. When I came in, I learned about the 5 mantras that we have here, about being in the sunshine, about not taking things personally. And I took time to learn that. And I was given that time because people trusted me. The management trusted me, Flow trusted me. So I think that is something that's very embedded in Yodo1's culture, to trust the people that you're working with. And then whenever I was given a feedback from someone, I trusted that feedback as well, to just not take it personally, and just to take something good out of it and learn from it. So that's something really important, and that's here in Yodo1's culture. So I think that's something that's quite takes us quite far. Yeah.
So understanding the culture, our own culture, and then using that sort of radar antenna to be able to figure out when another person has that same compatibility.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The vibe. I think you need to be able to figure out the vibe of the person that you're talking to. That's very important when you take an interview. So yeah, true.
It's hard to quantify vibe, but it makes sense.
We call it culture fit. What we've been trying to do recently is make sure that every interview team has at least one person who's really just there to evaluate a person's culture fit. Even if it's a completely technical role, we'll have one non-technical person who's just talking with them about trying to figure out, are you going to be able to fit with the way we do things at Yodo1? And that is, I'd say it's the biggest factor of whether or not people stay and succeed and find their place here.
As we remote work, I think the good communication skills is very important and necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So being able to, you look for, when you're talking with someone, you look for someone who's able to express themselves clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we need to ensure we have enough interviewer. Like if we hire the manager level, we need 3 to 5 interviewers, and issue as we hire the right person.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, I have just one more question, and I appreciate all of you sharing in our discussion today. What are some challenges that we're dealing with right now? Some things that you're tackling now that maybe we haven't solved yet, because it's a constantly evolving thing as a company, as an HR team. So I'm just curious what kind of stuff we're working on now, what kind of stuff we're tackling.
I think it must be language barrier.
Okay. Well, I'm involved with that part of it, the English language program.
Yeah.
Full disclosure.
In the past, it was on our team, and when we get into trouble, she can translate for us. But Flo joined, and Shiksha and Jovi join us, and if left us, and we need to rely on ourselves.
Well, Eve is still around, right? Eve is with me now.
No, not in our team.
Yeah, she's not on the team. She's helping with the English language program, which we're doing to make English part of the company's communication. But Flo, maybe you could talk a little bit then related to that about the language culture exchange program that we're doing, because that's a new thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, Huizi has taken over since Eve left as our translator, and she's done such a good job that now she's translating even for outside of the team. So it's really cool. within the last couple of months, HR has been trying this and trying that to kind of bring people together, get more engagement, help people grow closer, team building. We've had, successes and failures, but consistently we've been seeing like it's difficult for the Chinese side of the company to step in and engage, especially in big events where the main language is English. And so we've we brainstormed like how can we get people to slowly connect on, with people from different languages and different cultures. And similar to how the HR team kind of did that transition, we've seen the most success in small groups, like this size, like 4 or 5 people. So we are now starting a new program, Language and Culture Exchange, where we will be creating those groups of about 4 people and mixing up, someone who speaks Chinese really well, someone who speaks a little bit of Chinese, someone whose English is high, whose English is low, pairing people up with similar interests from different departments who don't already know each other. And just kind of creating a casual, ongoing chance for them to interact with each other. And I think it's going to be an interesting experiment.
I think it's a cool supplement as well to the English training program, because the English training program is somewhat rigorous. It's a thing that you're going to have to do twice a week. It's assignment based generally, and this is more of fun freestyle chatting, not specifically about language, which I think is a cool thing that kind of balances it out, which is great. Well, I appreciate you all sharing. Thanks so much for the conversation. It's great to learn about what HR is doing. To those watching, thank you for watching. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for interviews and other interesting content. You can also check out our Business of Mobile Gaming course. We'll have that in the link in the description. And thank you so much for watching.